Hey folks, and welcome to the second Dr. G's AMA, so Ask Me Anything. Some interesting questions came in this week. So the first one we're going to tackle is about fluoride, or putting fluoride in the water, or water in the fluoride as the case may be. Now listen, this is a bit of a controversial topic, so you're going to find people out there who are very, very passionate about it. And let me be straight up with you guys. I don't know a great deal about this topic. When this question came in, I did what I usually do. I went and hit the scientific research. I took a look to see if I could quickly, form an opinion and look at the data, right? And I know there's going to be some debate about, whether the data is accurate and et cetera, et cetera. So listen, if you're hoping that I'm going to rail against fluoride here, you're wrong. Okay, so I don't claim to be fully informed. People could bring up some evidence that could change my mind. And listen, unlike with our politicians, we're always talking about like he flip-flopped. I am a happy flip-flopper when it comes to health issues. The most important thing for me is taking the most current, the most up-to-date, right, the most effective data on health and applying it. It will undoubtedly mean that I was wrong about many things. Now, am I happy about being wrong? Well, of course not. But am I happy to now know more, to realize I was wrong then, and now hopefully be more right? Absolutely. So whatever it is, in all of these videos or anything you see me talking about, the reality is if there is a significant amount of time that's passed between when this video was put together and when it is now, and I'm not talking about basic foundational stuff that really never changes, right? We are always going to need to eat, minimally processed real food, stuff like that, right? If it's not foundational, if it's like this, is fluoride good for us, right? The reality is I may very well have changed my mind if more better data comes around. So here's the deal. Fluoride is a naturally occurring mineral, right? It's in basically everything. It's naturally occurring water, right? So oceans, streams, lakes, all these things have varying degrees of fluoride in them. It comes from the erosion of rocks, right? Food, animals, plants, right? It comes from, again, from the ground. So so fluoride is naturally occurring, right? It is an important mineral for us. It assists in the formation, what's called the mineralization, the hardening up of our bones. So if we don't have any fluoride, right, we're in pretty bad shape. So fluoride is essential. In real food, it will be there, and the amount depends again, and again, right? It comes back to not only what you're eating, but what you are eating, what it was eating. So if those plants were in good, nutritious soil, they will absorb many of those nutrients. If they were in really crummy, cardboard-like soil, there just won't simply have been those nutrients. If the animals were eating nutritious plants, they will have that nutrition. If they've been eating garbage, right, then that's what they're going to have in their system. So, first question, does fluoride occur naturally? Do we need it? Yes, right? The second question is then, okay, it was decided that fluoride is necessary, was found, right? Not just decided, but it was found that fluoride is necessary for strong bones. And of course, teeth are nothing if not strong bones, right? It was found that applying fluoride could help. And while they don't know 100% what it does, it generally boils down to two things. Fluoride, again, is naturally occurring, it's needed, but when fluoride either touches the teeth or is ingested, comes back around through the blood to the teeth, it seems to assist that tooth in remineralizing. So every day, just like every one of our bones, our teeth are constantly breaking down and being built up, constantly losing their minerals and their hardness to acids, right, and wear and tear from using them, and then being built back up again. And it's that balance, just like in our bones. If losing bone exceeds building bone, then our bones get weaker, we eventually get osteopenia and osteoporosis. Well, the same can happen with our teeth, except we call these cavities, right? A hole essentially gets worn in those teeth. And it was found that applying fluoride both helps that mineralization, and it also seems to inhibit the mouth bacteria that create many of those acids that break down teeth. So as a public health measure, And it's important now to distinguish between public health and individual health. So certain things that are public health is for the crowd, right? And certain things that are done to help the crowd hurt an individual. So when an individual looks at these public health measures, they may say, this doesn't help me, this hurts me, right? We see this, and I'm not going to go into this, we see this in a variety of other things, where things are undertaken for the public good, right? Possibly at the expense of certain individuals. So fluoride. Fluoride was added to the water because, again, disproportionately, poor people, poor kids suffer cavities, right? While richer kids tend to have less cavities. And so it's been shown, right? I pulled up some studies before I sat down to record this. So some studies were done in New Zealand, which as far as studies go, usually a pretty good place, right? Not as conflicted as we have here, where we have a lot more big interest involved in this. But we saw some studies done in New Zealand, and they found that when they added fluoride to the water, the rate of tooth decay went down. When they took fluoride out of the water, the tooth decay went back up again. So from that perspective, from my public health piece, fluoridating the water seems to be helpful. Now, can it be too much? Yes. So we said you do need some fluoride, right, in order to be healthy, have strong bones and teeth. Too much fluoride is also poisonous. So we have instances where people were getting way too much fluoride, right, and it causes discolorations in their teeth, right, called fluoridosis, and some other issues. And so we do that have that fine line. In another study I pulled up, it showed that in iron, so tea, black tea, right? Tea, the tea plant is a hyperaccumulator of fluoride. And so again, remember we said the plant is going to pull what's in the soil, but tea in particular seems to really concentrate fluoride. And so if it's grown in fluoride-rich soils, that tea will be very fluoride-rich. And what they found in Ireland was because they drink a lot of tea there, the baseline level of fluoride that the Irish are getting from their diet is quite high. And so the concern is take that high level and then you add water fluoridation and you can push people over into toxic levels, right? So again, from a public health perspective, does the available data that I found support water fluoridation? Yes, it does. Now, from an individual perspective, is it quite possible that that fluoride is bad for you, right? It is. Right? And the Irish showed us just one example. If your baseline level, if you drink a lot of tea or the water or the foods that you're eating are already high in fluoride, then there could be an issue from taking water that has been fortified with even more fluoride, right? But for an individual, this backs up again. Because when we look at hunter-gatherers, right, we see that the rate of tooth decay is very, very low. Now, the problem they have is if they do have teeth problems, they had no dentists. Right? And so that was huge. But where do we see tooth decay really become a problem? We see it in two places. The first is when agriculture was adopted. We saw tremendous explosion in tooth decay in the skeletons we look at from the hunter-gatherers to when they become agriculturalists. The second place we see the explosion of tooth decay is with the modern diet, right? So from an individual level, having extra fluoride is the same to me as taking a prescription drug to deal with the symptoms caused by a dysfunctional lifestyle, right? So I have seen over and over again, both in my personal life and in scores of patients, right, that the single biggest thing you can do to prevent tooth decay or stop tooth decay is not fluoride, is not even brushing your teeth, right? It is in the food that you do and don't put into your mouth, right? So I can tell you personally, as a kid, right, this is my anecdotal story. As a kid, I had cavities. The year that I decided, I had been having cavities basically year on year, and the year that I decided to stop drinking soda was the first time that I went into the dentist for my checkup and did not have a cavity. And in the 25 years since then, I have not had a single cavity. In fact, the dentist, regularly tells me how great my teeth are. And listen, this isn't because I'm some genetically gifted person, because I had cavities year after year before I made these changes. So the simplest things you can do is to dump the sugar and dump the sodas, right? And from there, it is to take in nutritious foods that supply your teeth and all of your bones with the nutrients that they need, among those fluoride. right? And then, of course, I do recommend that people brush their teeth, and especially that they floss, right? Because it's more than just about the health of your teeth, it's about the health of your whole body. Maybe we'll get into that some other time. So, from an individual level, do we need to fluoridate our water? Should we rely on the fluoride in our water to protect our teeth? And the answer is no, right? The same things that we all need to do to protect our health in general will also, to a large part, protect our teeth as well. Now, the available data out there says that water fluoridation, I'm assuming when it's done correctly to correct levels, again, I don't claim to be fully and completely informed on this, seems to be helpful. That's what the data is suggesting. When we stop fluoridation, right, as a whole, group health in terms of teeth tend to decline, right? But just as is the case with many other things, rather than focus on fluoridation, I would rather focus on people getting the health habits, right? Dropping sugar and sugar-sweetened beverages like soda from their diet, focusing on nutrient-dense foods, and doing everything else the foundational health patterns are about, right? Getting some regular exercise, sleeping enough at night, managing your stress, doing some periodic detoxification, managing your mental, emotional health and well-being. Those are the things that give us the long-term benefits as individuals. Now, I get again why communities do things for group health, but again, as individuals, we cannot rely on those measures. We have the responsibility to care for our own health. All right? So that's a long answer about fluoride. Again, I don't claim to be fully informed. There could absolutely be pieces I'm missing. But a quick review of the literature showed that fluoride seems to be helpful. And we know backing up from there that fluoride is an essential mineral that we all need to get in order to maintain healthy teeth and strong bones. I would rather see people get that from food, but it seems, I guess, that water fluoridation is another way, as long as it's done properly. All right, so that's it for this Ask Me Anything. You have more questions, please submit them. We'd love to hear them. You can get in touch with us at that's INFO, at aspirenaturalhealth.com, or get us, leave us a message on Facebook at facebook.com/aspirenaturalhealth. Until next time, this is Dr. Gerstmar with session 2 of the DrG AMA. Take care, guys.